Hey everybody, welcome to Takeoff with John Clark, and it is Super Bowl week here in New Orleans. So let's bring in from NBC, and as you can see behind us, Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Chris Sims, thank you very much for joining us.
How you doing? Of course, good to be here, man.
Now it's interesting though, because you don't have this unbuttoned.
Well, no,
your show is called
unbutton my mouth. I unbutton my mouth, and I say a lot of crude, crazy crap, and I swear a lot. And of course, you know me, I'm never, shy on expressing what I think through my studies of football. So that's where the kind of the play on words comes in about.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
You break down all the film. So we're going to ask you, of course, is Jalen Hurts a top 5, top 8, top 10 quarterback in a moment?
Yeah.
But this matchup, Eagles-Chiefs.
Yeah.
Give me an idea where you see the Eagles can win this game.
Well, I mean, let's just start up. The Eagles are the best team in football. Their team, the talent, the roster, there's nobody better than the Eagles. They're phenomenal. Now, are they that much better than the Chiefs? And to where a great quarterback and a good coaching game plan can't close that gap a little bit, right? Where we know the Chiefs are brilliant in that way, and especially in big game situations. I kind of have pegged this game last week when I did my podcast and shows with Florio as brains versus brawn. And I don't mean that by disrespect to anybody, right? Even the team that has brains, they do have brawn, and the brawn team does have brains. I get that. But here's what I'm saying is that your Eagle team, the offense, what they do, the run game, they have 3 run plays, 4 run plays, and they just go, screw you, we're so good, we're just going to run them, and they're coming, and you can't stop them, right? So that's where I say the brawn. The pass game, much discussed in Philadelphia. They don't do a ton, but it's hey, our quarterback can make plays off schedule. We got 2 good receivers. We don't need to do a ton. Screw you. You know what we're doing. We're still going to do it, right? And then there's the Chiefs that, break the huddle and there's 74 shifts and you're like, oh no, what crazy play's coming? Or Spagnuolo and some crazy blitz lining up, right? So that's where I get into the brains versus brawn part of the matchup. Eagles are really damn good. I think if I had to make a base level answer off of your question, right, where they can win the game. They don't need to reinvent the wheel here. They got to manage bad plays. And that's in the first Super Bowl, Spags threw some blitzes and did some things to the Eagles offense that I think they were like, what? They're doing this on first down? Oh no, it's 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 14, right? Jalen Hurts, one of my things on my podcast for about the last month, they have to do some more audibles, some more check with me's at the line of scrimmage, like he did in the first play of the game in the NFC Championship. They wired him to go, wait, if we get this look, get under the center, pitch it out to Saquon because they're screwed, right? Those are the type of things I look at. If they can do that and Jalen Hurts throws the ball the way he did in the championship game, Eagles are going to be tough to beat.
There you go. So
right.
Jalen Hurts has, by the way, audibled or checked the last 3 home run touchdowns by Saquon. So he's doing a great job with that.
He definitely is. It was one of my complaints throughout the year. The Eagles are so good. And like I said, I love the aspect of they can just call a play and go, screw you, we're going to run it, even though we're going to run it. But you're not going to get away with that against all teams, against the upper class of football like the Chiefs, right? So there's got to be a few moments in the game where, oh no, it's a blitz, let me check to this protection, or it's a blitz, ooh, Coach Kellen Moore and Sirianni told me to check to this run play because it's going to screw them over in a big way for bringing this blitz. And we've seen that. And even his quarterback design run last week for a 9-yard touchdown run, I believe that was him also changing the play.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you think that the Eagles can win with their identity and formula? We've seen the Chiefs. They've gone 18 straight games without a 100-yard rusher.
Yes.
Do you think Saquon and that biggest offensive line of football can win the game that way?
Yes, they can do it that way. But it has to be, it can't just, like if Saquon just runs for 110 and we see a Jalen Hurts passing offense that was in the wild card game or in the Rams in the divisional game, I'd go, oh, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Kansas, it's going to be a close game and Mahomes got the ball late in the game. And we all know how that goes, right? So, but if you can get anything north of 120, right? You get into those numbers, 150 with Saquon, I'd start to go, uh-oh, watch out. And then you get into, again, Jalen Hurts doesn't need to throw for 350, but if it's he's 16 for 21 for 220 and 2 touchdowns, the Eagles are going to win the game, right? Now, this is not going to be perfect. They're going to have a few new wrinkles. It's the damn Kansas City Chiefs, like you said. Their defense, they're going to have to play a little different way. If they think they're just going to rush forward and play zone against Patrick Mahomes, then they're going to get picked apart. And we're going to sit there and go, uh-oh, Mahomes is on fire, right? So there are a few little elements of where they might have to change, not totally who they are, but just throw a few new wrinkles and looks at the Chiefs that maybe they're not ready for to give you those advantages.
Yeah, and look, I think that the Eagles – I think it's a good matchup for them because we've seen this year, you love how Spags, really likes to blitz a lot. Well, Jalen has been really good this year against the blitz, right?
Yes, right.
And then Chiefs play a lot of man coverage.
Exactly.
And if you leave A.J. Brown there, man coverage,
yes.
You think Spags changes it up based on that?
I think he's not going to be able to change it up a whole lot. I think he's going to have to find some tactical ways to change it up, right? Or make it look like, hey, we're going to play man and then the last second drop out and play a zone but still have enough people there in the box to stop the run, right? That's what it's going to come down to. But yes, there's the matchups favor you guys across the board as far as that department. And yeah, Trent McDuffie's phenomenal. And I'm sure they're going to put him on A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith in a few times in some one-on-one situations. Same with, Jalen Watson or Joshua Williams on the other side. And yes, Jalen Hurts, a good deep ball thrower. Like, those are things that play into your hand. But if it's a first down, we run the ball because we're usually we run the ball on first down. We're the Eagles. We don't care. We're going to run it. Oh, no, it's 2nd and 10. And now Spags can go, maybe I'll play run defense, but I think I'm going to drop back and play coverage, right? Those are things that can be advantage Chiefs, and that's where this matchup's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you. The Eagles have the better overall team.
The Eagles team is not even a discussion.
Even a discussion with the Chiefs.
This is one of the best teams in the history of the salary cap era. The Eagles' offensive line is as good as the 90s Cowboys. This is as good a team as you're going to find in the modern day era. It's the best O-line in football. It's not close. It's, I think, the best duo receivers in football. Okay? It's the best running back in football. The tight ends are pretty damn good. We're not going to say best, but they're up there, right? The quarterback is up there. The D-line is the best in football. Jalen Carter is probably the best defensive player in the game, and the D-line's the best. The linebackers are not too shabby, and your secondary, the only thing you can go is hey, they're a little young, but they're awesome. Yeah. There is no weakness to this football team. It is perfectly constructed.
And when I look at matchups that the Eagles can win, right, I'm looking at the fact that the Chiefs had to move Joe Thuney off to the tackle.
100%.
And then you've got Mike Caliendo there who gave up a lot of pressures, a lot of sacks. And so Jalen Carter, is that a huge matchup that the Eagles can wreck the game with?
Huge. I had to make a list of the 10 most non-important QBs. Right? Jalen Carter I put him I think at 2. I could have made him 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Out of non-QBs?
Out of non-QBs
in the playoffs or the NFL?
And for this game.
For this game. Okay.
Jalen Carter is, first off, I'm not allowed to tell you who I voted for NFL Defense MVP. I voted for Jalen Carter as my second guy on my list, and I thought about making him the Defense MVP. He is the best defensive player in football to me, okay? But, yes, that's an issue, and that's why I said Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is what I call on my podcast the ultimate F the play-up guy. There's no stat for it, right? He doesn't get a stat for busting through the line, breaking through a double team, and now the running back has to run a different way than where he was supposed to run. He doesn't get a tackle. He gets no stat, but he's the one that ruined the play, right? He is special that way, and Caliendo, to your point, is definitely the weak link. So now you got to go, wow, they're going to be a little worried every time Jalen Carter's on Caliendo. They're probably going to slide to center that way. And now you're going to have one-on-one matchups with the other freaks of nature you got on the D-line, right? So that's where it's, I think, going to be imperative on Fangio to tweak some things in the secondary so Mahomes has to pat the ball one time so your pass rush can get there. If they just line up in normal Fangio stuff like they do, and I love Vic Fangio, the defense is great, but this is a different animal you're facing. If they line up and just go, we're playing quarters, we're playing cover 2, you're going to get surgically destroyed. Just like you saw the Bills in the first few drives of the game last week. Mahomes, they played zone, and he was just I got a million ways to throw this way, sidearm, doing boom, boom, and all of a sudden touchdown. And then we're going down for another touchdown, and they fumbled the handoff, right? And then they played man from that point on. And those are things that Fangio's got to play with a little bit.
Yeah, and you talked about the way Eagles can get pressure with Jalen Carter. Now I'm looking at their other tackle, Juwan Taylor.
Exactly.
And most penalized tackle in the NFL and gives up a lot of sacks. So you've
got starts, holdings, he does it all.
And you've got Nolan Smith with his speed coming around the edge. You talk about a physical freak now.
He's one of my favorites.
He's bigger, but he maintained his speed, it looks like. Is that a matchup they can win?
It is. This is a tough task for the Chiefs. I think this Eagles team is better than the Eagles team that was there 2 years ago at the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and I don't think the Chiefs are as good as they were. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
I don't think they're as good. Now, they have a magic and a belief and a ice coldness in their veins where they're not scared of anything.
Like you see the stats, they're an average offense on paper, defense okay,
but
they win in the end.
They play. This is what's cool about their dynasty is it started off with Mahomes, the greatest show on turf. Look at all this throwing, and then they went, wait, he's so good, let's put some resources on the rest of the team, and he'll kind of cover up the holes we have on offense and do it that way. But yeah, they just played let's stay in the game to the fourth quarter, and then we know we're really good right then. And we don't make mistakes. They're the ultimate four-quarter team, as you guys have learned, and a lot of teams have learned. And I think where the Eagles are better off this year, too, is you guys played more close games. The last time when you guys went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, one of my things was you hadn't been in a nail-biter in so long, and they were always in nail-biters. And I went, if it becomes a nail-biter, the Chiefs are going to be comfortable, and the Eagles are going to go, what? We're not up by 20? We're usually up by 20 by this point. You guys have been more dogfights this year where I think you'll be better in this close game, too.
And with the Chiefs having that Super Bowl winning experience, of course, I think most people would say you're taking the entire Eagles team over the Chiefs, but they would take Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid over the Eagles head coach and quarterback.
That's no disrespect, but of course.
No disrespect, yeah. So do you think, though, that the Eagles experience that all these guys got 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts had him walking off the field with the Chiefs confetti as his screensaver on his phone, like that's got to burn inside of them.
100%. I always think it favors the team that lost the first time around just because there's that fear of like, we could lose again and we got to play better and different and do that. And I think that's advantage Eagles here. I do, let alone you have some new pieces on your football team who haven't been here but they add a little energy and a different energy than the first time around, like Jalen Carter, right, not being here. Jordan Davis, I don't think he was there for that one either.
Well, he was
there,
but
he was a backup more, being Fletcher Cox and Hargrave were there, right?
Imagine that. Look how much the team has changed.
I know. It's stacked. It's stacked. I forgot the point I was going to make there.
I did too.
But no, you're more comfortable in those tight football games, definitely more battle-tested that way. And yes, it's going to be... I expect a nail biter. I'm just telling you, I'm favoring you guys. I think I'm going to pick the Eagles. I don't know if that makes the Eagles fans feel good or not, but I'm leaning that way right now.
All right, so Eagles fans always want to know how you feel about Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
So would you say Jalen is a top 5 quarterback, top 8? Or top 10? Where would you put him now?
Well, before the season, I believe. Let's just give a little backstory. Okay, I know I fought with you and a bunch of Eagles fans 2 years ago, right? But in that story too, I was being told he was the best quarterback in football. Now, that's what I wanted. The context does matter. I wasn't saying he was. Yeah, he wasn't the best quarterback in football.
Well, where was he in the MVP? In the MVP voting.
I don't.
Second, third?
I don't. Jared Goff is pretty close to MVP voting this year. He's not one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in football. Okay, that doesn't always mean that you're the best just because you're in the MVP voting. That's statistical. A lot of that's team bullcrap sometimes too that gets added onto that, right? So no disrespect there to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is really damn good, and he's gotten better. But to my point, I fought against it 2 years ago when he was at the Super Bowl. This year I made him number 9, and I can't tell you how the crap I got from Philadelphia fans telling me he's too high now. Now he's too high at number 9. Right.
Coming off the collapse
last year. Right. Okay. And I was saying, hey, I know the collapse was bad, but there was things in the pocket and things I saw last year where I went, oh, he's getting better. There's more variety of throws and stuff like that. Now, he didn't have his best year throughout this year for probably a number of reasons, but like top 10, yes, I think he's a top 10 quarterback. The top 4 are non-negotiable in their own category right now, right? When you get to Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Burrow, they're in a different stratosphere than the rest of football. Then you get into the C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff conversation. I might be missing somebody else there, but I think that was about it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where he is in that group. And he's played really well. But they need him to play well in this one. It can't be Carolina Panthers game, we're going to throw for 109 yards, or the wild card game of the divisional game. As you know, it's the Chiefs. They need a full team effort, and they need that run game and pass game to both be going at a high level.
But I got to tell you, the thing that's amazing to me is obviously they're leaning on the run completely. They're a running team.
Right.
But you look over the last 16 games when they've won 15 of 16. He's only got 3 turnovers. 33 total touchdowns.
Yes.
Now, I know the tush push. A lot of people say, well, should it count as a complete touchdown? I don't know. But, but he's not turning the ball over. I saw Jared Goff in big situations, even Jaden Daniels.
Lamar.
At the length.
Yeah.
Lamar,
right.
yeah. So to me, like, not making the big mistake, that's a huge part of this.
Huge part of it. It'd be a huge part of this game. Because, again, you guys are better. And if the game goes even, it's kind of like, if he didn't fumble in the first Super Bowl, would you guys have lost? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, they would have been up 10 or 17.
Exactly right. 17 maybe, right? So that's where he's really plays a mature brand of football. He's doing more at the line of scrimmage like we talked about. He's become a better thrower for sure. We know his running and the threat of his running is a big element for their football team. And where I respect him is he's smart enough to know, like, I don't need to force or make a play. We're good. I don't need to, like, the ball snapped on the ground like Lamar did in the playoff game, and now I've got one guy hanging on my leg, and I want to do a 360 flip and then still try to throw the football. Like, people go, oh, Lamar chokes in big games. I go, no, he just wants it too much, and he, like, tries to make too much happen. Jalen usually has a little bit of that calm, like, okay, they won this play. I'll be back here in a few plays, and we'll see how it goes for you guys that time.
You're so right. He was 20 of 24 in the NFC title game throwing to his targets, and then he had the 4 throwaways. He was like, okay, well, maybe I won't take the sack like I did last game.
Exactly right.
Throw it away.
Right,
yeah.
right. The injury derailed him this year, and we know that. That's hard. I don't care who it is, who you are. When you get hurt at that part of the year, then you go a few weeks without being able to practice. Then you get into a meaningless last game of the year, and now, wait, I'm throwing in the playoffs. Sorry about the bad word, but
you're unbuttoned.
You'll live, right?
Chris
exactly
Sims
right.
unbuttoned.
See,
it says it right there.
You get me close to my site here, and it all falls apart. All right, but yeah, that is like a big part of the game, and that he doesn't realize he needs to be Superman all the time and do anything crazy.
And I will tell you, I mean, I do think it burns in Jalen that he's not mentioned with those top tier, because he's beaten all of them in the regular season over the last 2 years. He's beaten Lamar, he's beaten Joe Burrow, beat Josh Allen last year. And the thing I want to ask you about the NFL right now is we saw Josh Allen a couple games, 130 yards passing. They're running the ball. Patrick Mahomes had 177 passing yards. How much has the game changed this year, where teams in the playoffs, especially running the ball, playing good defense, quarterback, don't make the mistake?
This is where you got to listen to my podcast a little bit, because I've been trying to say for 2 or 3 years ago, the game's changed. The teams like the 49ers and the Lions, what is their main thing? They run the football. Those are the teams we're seeing. The Eagles, they run the football. The Chiefs have got into, we don't care about throwing that much. We're going to play defense and run the football a little bit and do that. Definitely. The number one way to create explosive plays in the NFL right now is play action pass, right? And that's what you see all the great offenses doing. Even out there, LA and McVay, Kyron Williams, he's a really damn good runner. They run it. Lamar in Baltimore, amazing. He's going to win MVP, but I would also be it's a first ballot Hall of Famer running the ball and having an all-time great year on top of that. So the era of, like, we're just going to throw the ball and be in the shotgun, and especially the spread bullcrap, that is over for the most part. You guys probably do that more than anybody, but you have a rare formula and a rare team that is, like I said, like some of these other teams, they got to do some of this stuff. You guys are so damn good. You can kind of just go, we're going to do what we want to do. Let's see if you could stop it.
Right, and how much does Jalen Hurts, like Lamar Jackson, help Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, take that one defender out of the way?
Yeah, it's a huge element of the football game. I mean, it is. It's a big advantage. That you couple that with RPOs. That's where, like, Kansas City's really good. Mahomes doesn't run a lot, right? But they might have 1 or 2 in games like this where it's a quarterback design run that helps their run game.
And he runs more in the playoffs, right?
Of course he does. Yeah. And then the RPOs, right? But that'll be big. I still think, though, at the end of the day, the Chiefs, the way they're coached, they're going to go all out in certain situations to stop the run. And they're going to basically go, Jalen Hurts, you have to beat us, and if you beat us that way, then so be it. But there's only so many things you can do to stop the Eagles, and I think that's the first way you got to go right there.
All right, so Philly, just to let you know, I think, is it top 8 or top 10, Jalen Hurts?
We'll see. I always let it out in the spring, but I think he's top 10 for sure. Let's just say that. Are we good there?
You got to move him up from 9, though, at the beginning of the year, right?
I guess so. I probably would, yes. If I had to redo it. I don't take
5,
these things
6,
lightly.
7?
I go back. I watch the whole year. I watch the film. I do all of that. Right? So, I take all, and I'm not big on stats and everything that way. That's not what it's about. It's about what's there to be had, right? There were some games earlier in the year where I was critical of Jalen Hurts because I was like, he's open. You got to throw it. That's a 10-yard out route. He's wide open. You missed it by a few feet, right? There was, especially in the wild card round against the Packers. That's where I was like, oh, no. I said the Eagles were the best team in football for about the last 12 weeks, and he's not playing good. They started making me nervous a little bit, but I think he got it back last week.
So is the key drop back or get that ball out quick, first read, second read?
I think the key to me more is – hey, they got to hit what's there in the drop back pass game. And the other big thing is manage the Spags looks and pressures. That's going to be the big thing. And that's, to me, one of the advantages the Chiefs do have a little on you guys is because you guys are not a huge, like Mahomes or Josh Allen, who are at the line of scrimmage, 52, this, blah, 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 and yelling out all this thing, right? Where this is a game, I think that's got to be a little bit better in that department because Spags is going to do some things where the coach is going to be like, I can't call the perfect play every now and then. I got to teach you some plays during the week here that you got to help me get out of jail here because, oh, no, he's bringing a double corner blitz and we're screwed on this play. Get me to a better play. And I think that would be a huge part of the game, too.
All right, well, it is Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Yep. And final question for you. It's a fascinating stat that the last quarterback to lose his first Super Bowl and then win one was John Elway.
Yes, I know.
It's so hard.
I know.
You Cam Newton's, all these guys who went never get back. If Jalen wins this, can we get top 7, you think?
Well, you call me back up in the spring and the summer, and we'll talk about it, right? I know, like, if we always put everything on the quarterback, and I get sick of that a little, too, because they won, it's the quarterback. Oh, they lost, it's the quarterback. My dad was the quarterback of the Giants. He was really damn good. I don't for a second think he was better than John Elway just because he beat him in a Super Bowl, all right? Like, bullcrap. Nor do I think, like, Dan Marino wouldn't have won a Super Bowl on the New York Giants if he played there. So that's where we have to, sometimes put that crap away. It's the ultimate team sport, and there's a lot to it that goes there, but he's damn good at what he does. He's a good leader. He's continued to get better and better, and that I can say and feel confident about. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback.
And him and Patrick Mahomes, the winningest quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yep.
And Jalen is doing a great job of not turning it over.
Yes, he is.
And
he's
not
doing
making
a lot
a
of things. A lot of things great.
All right, Chris Sims, Unbuttoned.
See ya.
Unbuttoned.
Peace
Thanks
out.
a lot for your time.
See, I like you, Philly. I know I talk about your team really good all the time. I got a lot of hate, like I know, but I like you.
Jalen Hurts is moving up the list. We'll check with you in the offseason.
I love you. I love you not.
Oh, mom, so flagrant.